Hello and welcome to another mod showcase. Like I said at the end of my last video, I wanted to talk about a few of my favourite solo weapons and armour mods, by which I mean none that are from a pack, simply smaller standalone files. I will be covering a ranged weapon, one and two-handed weapons, as well as light and heavy armour sets. This is entirely based on opinion, and I'd love to see your favourites as well in the comments section. But with all that being said, let's get started. So to begin with, I will talk about my favourite ranged weapon mod, and ultimately, my favourite weapon mod overall. The natural bow. As you can see, this thing is absolutely massive, but it's so beautifully designed, and whenever I'm a Bosmer, it's basically all you're going to see me use. The reason this became my favourite is purely based on its design, with the size, the leaves, the bark texture, all of it. I literally love everything about this mod. It also doesn't hurt that it only takes up 7.1 megabytes either. I wanted to think about how this mod could be improved, and I thought you could maybe add in some variants such as different sizes, leaf types, bark texture, stuff like that. And maybe if the leaves change colour with the seasons, or arrows being added to the pack just to fit its ethos. But even without all of this mod is absolutely top drawer. Highly recommend this one, and I've been looking for the right time to show this bad boy off, and I hope you guys will like it as much as I do. So moving on to the one and two-handed weapons. I actually use two separate packs that can be either one or two-handed, which I find pretty cool. First up, I want to talk about the Break of Dawn, a Dawn Guard inspired sword with their crest on the blade itself. The detailing on this sword is really nice, but it also keeps nice and simple and this possible look about it, which I really appreciate. This sword has its own custom sheath, which again looks really nice and performs very well. It can only be improved by adding in the silver effect, causing more damage to the undead, as that would obviously fit its motif. However, it's pretty hard to scoff at something of this quality for only 11.7 megabytes. We also have the Long Claw. Now I'm sure as many of you instantly recognise that as the name of Jon Snow's sword in Game of Thrones. This, or rather these variations, are very specifically made using references from the book. They are again absolutely outstanding, coming in multiple variants, which is one and two handed with different ornament and crossguard colorations. I find this to be a really nice touch. Again, this sword has its own scabbard and the detailing on this is second to none. As such, I tend to prefer this as my two-handed weapon, so I can see it in full detail on my back. There are actually two versions of this mod as well, and I will link them both in the description down below. One of them has its own little quest to earn the blade, and the other is instantly craftable, but that's entirely down to you. I use the craftable version, which comes in at 10.3 megabytes and is worth every last bit of data. Now for my favourite light armour mod. You've actually been seeing me use this the entire video. It's known as rough leather armour. This armour works for males, females, beast races, and it only takes up 9 megabytes, which when you take its detailing into account is so cheap. It's the absolute ultimate for any sneak archer, thief or hunter build. The stats come in at between scaled and glass armour and can be tempered. This armour is also fully enchantable. The way that you get this set is simply craft it at any forge when you have the advanced smithing perk. As a side note, I use Ordinator, and this will still be the case if you were worried about any conflicts. In terms of how this armour could be improved, I honestly have no answers. Maybe some more variations could be done, but for an armour this file size, so inviting. I wouldn't want to change it, although if anyone felt so inclined to replace the Thieves Guild armour with this, I certainly wouldn't complain. And finally, my favourite heavy armour. I've recently started using this set when playing as a Nord. It's known as the Blooded Heavy Armour. This is my highest cost mod on the list at 27.1 megabytes, but even so, as a full armour set, with a weapon as well, it was bound to cost a little. This armour is meant as an extension to the Blooded Targe, and for those of you unaware, that is the shield with the increased bash damage. This armour works perfectly for anyone attempting a darker feeling playthrough, or even something like Vampire Hunter. Aesthetically speaking, it's one of the coolest looking armour sets going, and even feels like it was meant to be in the game from the start. I would love to see this thrown into the hands of bandits, almost like a piece at a time, especially if it could be more modular, such as the shoulder or arm piece being separated. Strangely, the non-spiked arm is actually one of my favourite details, and I wish I could put this onto other armours. This armour, much like the previous, is wearable by every race and gender, temperable and enchantable, and to receive this set you have to craft it specifically at the Skyforge. That is the only place you can do that. There are plenty of items that I thought could or maybe should have made this list, however these were my favourites. When I had to sit down and think about it, these were the ones that came up. Armour sets such as Celebrimor or Valkyrie are absolutely outstanding, but they're gender specific and they do cost a lot. There are also plenty of armors inside packs such as Vigilant Paladin in unplayable faction armors, or even the Blooded Hawker armor from the same pack, but I'm very happy with my selections. I would, however, love to hear your favourites. Even if they're gender specific, race specific, in a pack, their weapons, I don't mind, I'm just find myself quite curious. This, however, is going to do it for me. If this has helped, I do of course appreciate likes, comments, and of course subscriptions. Also, if you have a request on something you'd like to see, please just hit me up in the comments below and I'll see what I can do. But either way, thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one.